Welcome to Cinema Bites, your go-to for movie recaps in a flash. Big twists, epic moments, all in just minutes. The story Who Am I begins underground in one of the mines, where a group of workers found a very strange substance. One of them rushed at full speed to deliver it to a scientist. As soon as the scientist discovered that it was a valuable material, he asked his servant to deliver it to the army. But unfortunately, on the way, the car kept shaking because of the rocks, and since the substance was unstable, it exploded and destroyed everything. After that, the events moved to a forest in South Africa, where a group of special operations officers landed from their planes. Here, we meet Jackie, a Chinese officer working with the American Army because of his incredible skills in martial arts and weapons use. He and his friends hid among the trees and prepared to set up a dangerous ambush. After a while, a gang's car fell into the trap and the officers attacked them without warning, but they used nets to catch them and didn't kill them with bullets. In the middle of the battle, Jackie sneaked onto the roof of the truck, then freed a group of scientists who were being held captive. These scientists were analyzing the dangerous explosive material that the miners had found underground, and the officers rescued them from the gang to prevent them from using the explosive material for evil. In the end, the mission succeeded, and the colonel praised Jackie and his friends for their efforts and asked them to hand over their weapons because they were going to board the plane and return to the camp. But unfortunately, after all the officers boarded the plane, we discovered that the colonel was actually a spy for a group of criminals and did all this to get to the explosive material. He destroyed the plane's engine and wanted to jump and escape, but Jackie grabbed him, and the two fought in the air until the pilot lost control and the helicopter crashed. Luckily, Jackie landed among the trees and survived at the last moment. After the American Army generals learned of the betrayal, they were worried because the explosive material was dangerous and could not fall into enemy hands. They said they must find it by any means possible. At that time, Jackie woke up in a strange place and was surprised to find himself badly injured. Here, we learned that an African tribe found him lying among the trees after he fell from the plane and saved his life. But unfortunately, Jackie couldn't understand their language, and when he tried to say his name, he was surprised that he couldn't remember anything and realized he had lost his memory. After a short time, Jackie's wounds healed significantly, so he left the tent and began to walk among the villagers. Everyone welcomed him and felt great happiness. While Jackie was wandering around, some villagers asked him to come with them because they had seen something strange. Jackie rushed to find out what was happening and discovered that they had found a crashed plane. His memory began to return, and he remembered parts of his past. He spent the whole day thinking about who he was and how he could get back to his country. Over time, Jackie learned the villagers' language and started celebrating with them as if he were one of them. But suddenly, a group of young people told him that there was something strange moving in the forest. When Jackie used his binoculars, he discovered it was a group of cars, so he decided he had to reach them by any means because they could help him. The next morning, Jackie left the village with two of his friends because he wanted to look for the cars he had seen at night. By chance, he found a body hanging from a tree, and when he examined it, he realized it was one of his friends who had been with him on the plane before the incident, and he began to remember the past. After that, he said goodbye to the villagers and set off to recover his memory. While Jackie was in the mountains, he came across a broken-down tourist car and found a young man injured by a snake bite. He tried to suck out the venom and help him using medicinal herbs, and he managed to calm Yoko and convince her that he was good when he helped her friend and treated his wound. Unfortunately, no matter how much Jackie tried to talk to her, he couldn't because the medicinal herb numbed his tongue and he looked like a fool. Here, Jackie noticed some coconut trees in the distance, so he used his high skills to make climbing equipment because he had been trained in the army for many years. He reached the top of the tree in seconds to get some fruit, then made a medical needle from the available tools and gave the coconut juice to Yoko's injured friend to wake him up and prevent him from falling into a coma. After that, he put a new tire on the car and set. Here, we learned that Yoko and her friend are not ordinary tourists because they were professional racers, and because Jackie was fast and skilled at driving, they managed to win the race without any trouble, and Yoko's friend quickly returned to the doctor. When the doctor tried to talk to Jackie, he noticed that his tongue was numb because of the medicinal herb he had used, so he decided to treat him as quickly as possible. After that, we meet Colonel Sherman, who is one of the traitorous officers who tricked Jackie and stole the explosive material. But he learned from his boss that Jackie was still alive because his picture was all over the news, so he decided that he had to kill him by any means, because if Jackie confessed, he and his group would go to prison for treason. Meanwhile, Jackie finally recovered and started talking normally, but he was surprised by the journalist Christine, who began asking him about his memory and how to reach the African tribe. But Jackie didn't want to talk to anyone, and in the end, Yoko appeared and distracted Christine. While Jackie was walking in the hospital, he was surprised by 3 special operations officers who said they were coming to investigate his case. Then Sherman appeared and talked to him. Unfortunately, Jackie had lost his memory and forgot that Sherman was one of the traitors who stole the explosive material. So Sherman felt relieved and told his followers that Jackie was not a threat, but he had to die before his memory returned, and he reported them. At this time, we learned that the criminals who stole the explosive material tried to test its power to generate electricity for the city, but the material was extremely powerful and caused an overload, making all the electrical devices explode and be completely destroyed. Of course, Jackie was surprised by what was happening, but he rushed to the police station to continue investigating his case and learn about his past. But suddenly, and without warning, as soon as the officers noticed Jackie, they ambushed and arrested him. Then they took him to a secret place away from everyone, and here we learn that the officers thought Jackie was the traitor who stole the explosive material because he was the only one who survived and all his friends in the mission died. But Jackie tried to convince them that he didn't remember anything at all, but unfortunately, the officer thought he was lying and started beating him mercilessly. When he felt desperate, he asked his followers to put him in prison, so Jackie took advantage of the officer's distraction and quickly overpowered them, thanks to his legendary kung fu skills. He knocked them down one by one, caught his breath and escaped from the room. Jackie climbed to the top of the building, and the officers chased him everywhere, but he jumped skillfully and disappeared from sight. Then he returned to the hotel, where he was staying, and met the journalist Christine. Christine asked Jackie to talk to her about his memory, but he asked her to meet him another time because he was busy. Here, we learned that the criminals who stole the explosive material were watching Jackie from a distance, and one of them captured Christine. Meanwhile, Jackie tried to untie his restraints in one of the hotel rooms and by chance, noticed that a group of criminals wanted to finish him off, so he ran. He sped away from them and tried to dodge their bullets, and here a big chase happened between Jackie and the gang through the city streets. But as soon as the gang members got close to catching him, Yuko took his place instead because she's a professional, and managed to escape from the criminals' grip. Not only that, but she used her incredible skills and maneuvered the car through a very tight spot. After that, she climbed to the top of a tall building and managed to take down all those chasing them, destroying their cars with complete ease. After Jackie and his friends escaped, Yuko managed to unlock his restraints. Then she and Christine asked him why the gang was after him. Jackie took out the bag he found with his friend's body in the forest and said he didn't understand anything that was happening. He climbed to a very high place and started screaming, "Who am I?" Later, Christine searched Jackie's friend's bag and found an address for a restaurant in the city center. So she and Jackie set off on their way and asked Yuko to stay safe and not to come with them. The two of them arrived at the restaurant, and Jackie was confused about what to do. He called Colonel Sherman because he thought he was a good officer who would help him. But as soon as Jackie told him he was at the restaurant, Sherman went crazy because he was nearby and ordered his men to get there as fast as possible to finish him off. Meanwhile, Jackie accidentally discovered a bugging device in Christine's bag and realized she wasn't a journalist. Christine confessed and said she was a police detective, but didn't want to hurt Jackie and was trying to help him. While Jackie and Christine were talking, Sherman's men suddenly appeared and attacked Jackie without warning. Even though the criminals outnumbered Jackie, he managed to fend them off easily and escaped into the street. They all chased after him and tried to stop him, but Jackie kept defeating them, using his high physical fitness and kung fu skills to dodge their blows. In the middle of the fight, Jackie lost his shoe and had to fight without it until he entered a narrow alley and got cornered by the gang. But by chance, he bumped into a pile of wooden clogs, seized the opportunity, and put one on. Since the wooden shoe was very sturdy, Jackie used it to destroy his enemies and crushed them with complete ease. While he was escaping, a dog fell from a high place because of one of the criminals. Jackie ran at full speed and saved it at the last moment. The workers lost focus, and the whole place turned into chaos. Of course, Jackie took advantage of the opportunity and disappeared into the crowd within seconds. After that, Jackie called Colonel Sherman again. Unfortunately, Jackie foolishly told Sherman his location, thinking he was a good officer and not knowing he was a traitor. As soon as Jackie finished the call with Sherman, he spotted two of the criminals and followed them silently without them noticing until they reached a building in the city center. He snuck in quietly and managed to enter the storage room, then climbed up to the top floor, tricked the employees, and convinced them he was one of them. He also put on a new suit and disguised himself so no one would recognize him. From the start, Jackie knocked out one of the guards. Here we find out that this is the same building where the corrupt general and Sherman are. When Jackie spied on them, he learned they were going to sell large quantities of explosive material to a very dangerous gang. Jackie sneaked in from the kitchen and entered the ventilation shaft without anyone noticing. After the gang leader finished the deal with the corrupt general and sent him $500,000, the two of them left to celebrate until the money was fully transferred. At that moment, Jackie came down from the ventilation shaft and stole a CD with all the information that could expose Sherman and the gang leader. The gang leader kept crying because Jackie sent the money to a charity. Of course, Sherman was extremely angry when he found out Jackie was the reason. He informed the general and the gang leader about what happened and ordered all his men to search for Jackie, announcing $1 million reward for whoever killed him. After Sherman and his men set out, Jackie returned and cornered the general and the gang leader alone. He caught them, roughed them up, and promised to expose their plans to everyone. In the end, Jackie took a breath and escaped before the guards could secure the area, trying to disappear inside the building with great difficulty. While he was dodging the criminals, he accidentally ran into Sherman and was shocked because he thought he was a good officer. Sherman told Jackie he was disguised as a criminal to expose the general and the gang leader's plans. Jackie got nervous, not knowing what to do. In the end, he handed the CD and the gun to Sherman. Sherman tried to trick him, but we find out that Jackie had left the gun unloaded to test whether Sherman was a traitor or not. After tricking Sherman, Jackie took the CD back and escaped from the criminals in seconds, climbing to the top of the building. Unfortunately, he reached the edge, and two strong fighters asked him to surrender. Of course, Jackie refused, so one of the fighters challenged him and promised to defeat him in just 30 seconds, while the other watched and kept time. From the start of the fight, Jackie was shocked by his opponent's strength because he was a skilled Japanese karate fighter. No matter how much Jackie tried to dodge his blows, he couldn't, and he fell to the ground before 30 seconds were up. Even though Jackie lost the challenge, he learned a lot and had studied his opponent's fighting style smartly, knowing his weaknesses so he could control him. He fought fiercely until he finally defeated him. After the Japanese fighter was defeated, the American fighter, who had been keeping time, challenged Jackie face to face. From the start, we see that the American fighter excels at using his legs, and his kicks are devastating and Jackie was stunned by his incredible strength, as his leg was like a cannon that could destroy anything in its path. In the middle of the fight, Jackie used his surroundings to dodge the blows, and managed to control his opponent until he finally won. After Jackie won the fight, the American and Japanese fighters teamed up against him to finish him off completely. But Jackie endured the attacks and resisted until he caught his breath. He was on the edge of the building and could have fallen at any moment, but Jackie is very skilled in martial arts and has high physical fitness, so he managed to show off his amazing kung fu techniques. Unfortunately, the bag with the CD fell off the edge of the building and Jackie was extremely angry, unleashing his full strength until he caught both the American and Japanese fighters and proved he was the strongest. Then he rushed to get the CD back, and because he was in a hurry, he had to slide down from the top of the building, breaking the glass of one of the rooms. Meanwhile, the treacherous Sherman found the bag with the CD and tried to escape with it. Of course, Jackie didn't let him and followed him, but was surprised when Christine returned and offered to help him. He got into a small car with her, and they set off. Christine was a very important officer, and with just one call, all the police forces filled the streets and blocked the roads for the traitor Sherman, finally arresting him. Jackie thanked her for her help and said he would return to the African tribe to live with them until he remembered his entire past, and that was the summary of the movie. Subscribe to get the strongest summaries every day.